Good morning. I made another stand last night, or this morning, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some practicing with a T2000. If you're not familiar, this old T2000 Connors used. They had a 2, a 3, a 4, and I believe a 5. And I have them all upstairs in the attic. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice with the stand. And like I said, it's a spring, it's a ball, some screws. I used a golf stand and kind of, took some parts off it, so it looks like this, okay? And then also on the bottom is this is just a bottom of a chair. Someone discarded, and I took it apart for the parts because I know what I want to use. And here I just set this in here, and now I put a spring, and it's perfect because I can adjust these wheels, and these wheels will help me to practice topspin. I mean, I have to keep the screws tight, but I just practice going over the ball. And so go over it. I can also teach young kids to go under the ball. And so you teach them how to go under. You teach them how to go over the ball. Okay? And you start off with control first. And this is how I help them to hit through the ball. Then you can practice both right-handed, left-handed, 2 hands, 1 hand. And so it's a great way of practicing. It's not, I can hit pretty hard with this, but it's not really designed to hit hard. But to practice your strokes to keep in shape, and you really don't need a whole lot of room with this one. And so it's a great way of practicing. I'm using what's called a T2000. I have some magnets too that I have, and if I want to, I can put the magnets on the strings, and it acts like a donut, like a baseball player has a donut. When they go up the bat, they used to put donuts on, then they argued whether it really helped or not. It did build confidence, at least, even though they say, sometimes the technologists, scientists say, well, it doesn't really help acceleration, or power or whatever, and I'm not so sure. It maybe has if it's not proven scientifically, then I'll tell you what, it also gives confidence, okay? And so there's different ways of measuring science. It's not just weighing something. There can be also things like that you can't measure. And so, but there are realities, okay? And so when I think about this, I put the weight in the middle, and now I can practice. And so if I were to take the weights off, okay, and all of a sudden it's going to be like, these weights are about a ½ pound each, so that's a pound. And so now if I swing now, my racket's accelerating faster, okay? And it's accelerating faster, and it actually, you can feel it, as you hit, okay? And so I can put these weights, if I want to, I can put them anywhere. I can say if I want to practice serving, I can put on top, if I want to, okay, if I want to practice, I can put them on the edge here, so I can practice like, the racket head's gonna, basically close more, okay? Or I can put it here on top, and I don't know why you do that unless that would open it up, maybe for a windshield wiper or whatever. And so I have these weights, and so what I've done is some of our rackets, I actually have, put weights on them. And so you see this weight on the top, and so I can practice serving, okay, and it gives me weight, and so it's a great way. I don't lift weights, but I do like you do need some kind of ways that you practice and strengthen your arms. And so this is one way that you can practice both. And I encourage you, if you practice right-handed, to practice left-handed. Sometimes when you're teaching, I have the student learn the opposite hand, and then turn around, have him do the right hand, and say, "Oh, this is much easier," and that's what you want him to say. This one, if you notice, I have it in the middle, okay, and I attached it, and used some spare parts, but I put a tennis ball on it. So now I got about a pound here, and then it has a tennis ball in the middle, and I can practice some shadow swinging. Okay, and so that's one way I do it. Another one I have is, let's see, what I did with it. I have one in the middle, top side. This here, okay, here it is. I was wondering where I had it. I have it down at the throat, okay? I put the weights, in fact, it's a little bit more, and I put the weight lower. And so a lot of times, young people don't want to use extra hands, so I have them you can grab this, and then you can practice hitting. And then, so make it, it's just a great way of practicing. And so they grab that weight right here, or they turn their shoulders. It's a great way of practicing. And then another way that probably putting too much in one video is I like to put rubber bands on the racket here. And so when I'm practicing, then I can practice. You can actually hear the rubber bands. I'm going to need a little more room here, so I'll move this tennis stand out of the way. And as I accelerate, you're going to hear, you can hear that swish. And so, okay, and so it's a great way of practicing. Oops, they get tangled up a little bit, but you know, there we go. And so I do this with young kids. I'll practice them so they learn how to accelerate the racket, not trying to hit harder, but trying to accelerate that racket. And so you can hear the swishing sound that the rubber bands create. And it's just a great way of practicing. And so I utilize these 2000s or 3000s. I have at least 20 or 25 of these rackets. And if you want to purchase one from me, just let me know. But it's a great way of practicing. I used to love this racket. It has so much power, okay? Smaller sweet spot. And in fact, it's stay tight string. That's an old racket. And so the leather grips are so much better. And so you hear that swishing sound, okay? And so Jimmy Connors, of course, used this. And so you can hear that swishing sound, okay? And so it's a great way of practicing. And so when you're practicing, I can do it right-handed or I can do it left-handed. And so you want to get used to hitting through the ball. And so it's a great way of practicing. And so hear that swishing sound? And it's just a great way of practicing. All I did was attach some rubber bands to the middle of the strings. And it's a great teaching device for practicing acceleration. I hope these ideas have been helpful. Give me a thumbs up, or pass it around. And I hope that you are creative and learning how to practice in cold climates.